they had this thing, the hot boy thing that was out, and like all the women, I'm being honest with you, all the women was after me. I didn't have no discipline to say no, and one thing lead to another. I got, like they said, had a saying like they have 20 women to one man, and I was a victim of that. It has to be a victim because none of it meant me any good, and nothing came good out of it through me learning from it now, today. And that's just what it was. No discipline.
You had a domestic abuse battery by strangulation charge, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'm be honest with you, ma'am. I think I had several of those, and that was the result of having so many female kind of confidence at that time. And that's what they do. I don't have no convictions of that. I have some arrests, and I do admit, but when you don't give them what they want, that's what they do.
If you don't give them what they want, then that's what they will do. And maybe if it happened once, you could buy into that. But this man, he must just be the Uber victim because it happens time and time again. Before we watch this 2025 parole hearing, we are going to take a flashback to the past to his 2021 revocation hearing. This is a Louisiana return of series, and it is epic. So with that, let's jump.
All right. Paxton Grayer, DOC number 369545. Okay, you have rule number 4. The offender failed not to engage in any criminal activity by committing the offense of domestic abuse battery by strangulation and criminal damage to the property for which he was arrested on 9/4/2019 by the Boyce Police Department. Said charges were subsequently pled down to lesser of criminal mischief and sentenced to serve 6 months in parish prison time served. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty with a statement, sir.
Not guilty with a statement. All right. Next one is number 10. The offender is currently $3,969, $39.69 in arrears towards supervision fees. How do you plead to that?
Guilty with a statement.
Guilty with a statement. Okay. Would you like to go ahead and I tell you what, go ahead and make your statement now, and then we'll let Mr. Knotts answer some questions.
Let me know. Yes, sir. The charge that against me, the police report that the information that was contained in the police report is not true. I only went there to get my clothes, and I was assaulted, and she was arrested for assault and battery, 2 counts of assault and battery on me, and that's all I was trying to do is get my clothes from her.
Okay. That's on the church. Now, what about the money you
owe? So it's been really hard. Me and my wife, we have bills. I do the best I can, and me and my wife, every payday, I still have to leave and go borrow. We still have to go borrow money from loan companies to make the other ends of our bills meet. The money that I did have, like the check I have, like our rent is $550. We got car insurance, car notes, food, and I don't get no other type of assistance. I'm able to work. When I can work, I work, and I just try to take the little money that we do have, and we have a 6-year-old, and extend it through the house to keep our house functioning. I apologize that I was unable to pay the $60 a month, and the clothes, I was in a work release, and the clothes I still had in 17, I was still wearing work release clothes. So I haven't been squandering any money. We just take every little bit that we have and just try to make ends meet the best way that we can.
All right. Would you answer Ms. Renata's questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. Kelsey. So you say you were going to get your clothes.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was the other party who you claim assaulted you? What was your relationship to that person?
I was between 2 houses, between my wife's house and another female. And me and my wife, Fidelia Greer, she's a pastor, and me and her both are active in the church. The night before, I had spent some time down in Alexandria with another pastor, and we had just came to the conclusion it just didn't look good for me to be from one house to another and being active in the church as a deacon. So I was just making a correction in my spiritual life to go back and stay with my wife. And She was in, the girl that put the charges on me, she was in disagreement with me leaving her. I went there in peace to get my belongings, and that's when the incident escalated to her trying to assault me. And I have pictures and evidence where she took my clothes and stuff and just slung them.
All right. So hey, okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
but you pled guilty to a lesser charge. Why did you plead guilty if you're not guilty of anything?
Because we was under the impression at the time that if I was to play, that it wouldn't go against me in my parole, but unfortunately, we didn't know, because the underlying charge while I'm on parole is on a manslaughter charge. We were just on the thing, like if they were to throw the charge out, that I'll just be reinstated, and that's what impression that I was under.
Right, but you didn't throw it out, you pled, right? Okay, let me tell you my concern, Mr. Grayer. You've been on parole or supervision, good time supervision, because you got out on good time in 2015. The board has given you multiple opportunities to do better. I mean, I'm concerned. I see it. You got out in 15. I see in February of 17, you appeared before a parole board for a simple battery arrest. And in lieu of revocation, you went to work release. I guess that's what you were talking about. That's the clothes you were wearing. Then 2018, I see another arrest, domestic abuse battery, aggravated assault, where you received a reprimand. June 2019, unauthorized entry, disturbing the peace, arrest. And then this current offense arrest. So, you had that history doesn't look good for you.
Could I make a statement in regards to that, ma'am, if I could?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
In reference to this particular situation, I think the report reflects that that there were in fact pictures that show that there were clothes thrown outside the home when he had arrived there. And so clearly from there, an incident occurred, and I believe the lady in this case made a statement in reference to her statement as far as what happened. In reference to Mr. Grayer, I think his statement reflected that he was stabbed or cut by her, and I think there are some pictures that would reflect that he was cut. And also, I believe that the lady in this case submitted an affidavit in which she wished to drop charges. Also, in that report, it reflects that the officer arrested both Mr. Grayer and Ms. Batts in that case, which to me, which indicated that they were unable to determine an aggressor in the case, so they arrested both of the individuals. And so with the pictures that were a part of the case, we just feel as if that Ms. Bass did initiate it. It was close on outside the home, which already indicates an aggressive matter. When you're throwing someone's clothes out of the home, there's already an anger built up already, and so I think in the report, Mr. Grayer mentioned those things, but Ms. Bass didn't even mention those things as to what caused it. She just basically said as if the incident happened and didn't give the background as to why the situation had escalated. So I feel it's more of a self-defense situation in this situation, not the previous arrest, but in this current situation.
If I may speak on the previous.
Thank you, sir. Let me, so how long you been in jail, Mr. Grayer?
16 months.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Grayer.
Yes, sir.
What were you doing over there?
Over where? At the house?
Yeah.
No, I went there. The incident happened so fast. I didn't stay there that night. I was out with a friend of a church that night, talking. And when I got home, I hear you. We sat outside till 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I went to
Mr. Grayer, let me tell you something, okay? When
Yes,
a person is on parole or
Yes, sir.
probation, they give up certain rights. They have to act a certain way.
Yes, sir.
Now, your lawyer just pointed out nobody knew who the aggressor was. You put yourself in a situation where you got arrested and you pled guilty to a lesser charge. And you got a history of violating your probation and your parole, a history of that. You don't seem to be very careful about your actions, and there are consequences for those things. Now, explain to me how this happened, realizing all these other times, all these other breaks you had, that you would put yourself in this situation and plead guilty and expect us to just let you out.
Sir, the past charges that I was catching, there was none of those was action that was brought on by myself. The charge that I caught, that I played out when I went to work release,
Mr. Grayer, do
Yes,
you
sir.
know how many times we hear that story?
But I'm here to tell the truth. You have to. I'm just being honest with you.
You pled guilty to a criminal charge. I'm not accusing you of anything. You pled guilty.
Well, like I said, we was under the impression that it wouldn't go against my parole.
That nobody mentioned that to me, or nobody mentioned that to your parole officer.
No, my lawyer, he contacted the parole officer during the time I was in court, and we were just trying to find resolve the matter.
That's all the questions I have, Mr. Gray.
All right, would you like to make a statement on your behalf, or your counsel like to make a statement?
I want to kind of clear up some of the questioning from before, because I don't think Mr. Greer focused in on that, I think the root of what the last question was. He believed he went to the house, he was involved in a relationship with this woman, and their relationship was coming to an end. And so he went to the home to retrieve clothing. When he arrived there, clothing was being thrown out of the home due to the anger that this lady had as far as with him for wanting to leave the relationship status. And so that was the purpose in him going to the home, was to retrieve his clothing that he had already had at the home. Not knowing that the situation would escalate into where he would end up being arrested. That wasn't the intent when he arrived at the home. It was only to retrieve clothes. And then he was obstructed from retrieving the clothing due to the violence that occurred from the young lady with the cuts, which are included in the photographs. And so that's what led to the situation. He didn't go over there to cause any trouble. He went there to retrieve clothing to go back home to stay with his ex-wife. And I think that's where the escalation started. So it wasn't any ill intent or any purpose to go over there to cause any trouble when he arrived at the home on that day.
You talking about the thing we went through with the plea deal?
Oh, and also
the investigator came to testify.
And also Ms. Batts, in reference to the charge, I believe that's the purpose in which the DA's office had reduced the charge down to a criminal mischief. A misdemeanor was due in fact to the police report, and due to the ambiguity of who caused what, caused them to reduce it down to a criminal mischief.
And she did drop the charge.
And she did send an affidavit with her wishes to drop the charges in the case. Also, Mr. Gray also was under the impression, with it being a misdemeanor and not a crime of violence misdemeanor, that it wouldn't hold too much effect or revoke his parole, being that it was reduced from a crime of violence down to a non-violent misdemeanor charge.
All right, thank you. We need to hear from Ms. Grayer. I apologize. Let me hear from Ms. Grayer, please. You wanted to make a statement, quick statement, please.
Good morning to the board. I am Fidelia Grayer. I'm the wife of Paxton Grayer. He, without sin, cast the first stone. And the only sin that was committed in parts to my husband was infidelity. And I have forgiven him, and God has forgiven him. And at that moment, I never prevented Paxton from coming home. And he came home to say, I'm coming home to get this marriage together. Now, my husband, he made some decisions that morally wasn't correct, but he tried to get them back together. And I truly feel that Paxton has changed. And I pray that you will have a heart of compassion on today, and not prevent Paxton from coming home. Because every morning I wake up, I have to hear my child say, is daddy coming home today? And I pray that you don't prevent him from coming home, just as I have never prevented Paxton to come home. And the word of God says that love love covers a multitude of sins and faults. And that's what the Grayer family has for Paxton. We love him, and I've been doing the best I can in trying to support him throughout this whole situation. I am disabled, and I'm doing the best I can to hold it together. I truly, truly apologize to the fact that we have not been financially able to pay his restitution and fees, but I will do whatever it takes to get my husband to come back home. And I pray that the board will have mercy upon Paxton and have a heart of compassion. Thank
right,
you for a
thank
moment
you.
of your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. I think everybody's made their statements down. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Miss Renata, let's see. Is that right? Miss, you're muted. That's right.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate everything that's been said here today. I appreciate the testimony by Mrs. Grayer. However, I'm looking at the record, and I have a concern. I believe there was probable cause to believe that he has violated the conditions of his parole, particularly condition number 4. My vote today is to revoke his parole.
Marabella.
I've listened to the evidence as well, understanding from experience how oftentimes these domestic abuse batteries end up, especially if, as his attorney suggested, the victim wanted to drop the charges, which is not unusual in these kinds of cases. The bottom line is this defendant has pled guilty to a criminal charge. It's therefore my vote that he be revoked as well.
All right, you have two votes to revoke. Also, I'm going to vote to revoke for the same reasons as stated here today. So 3 votes to revoke. Your parole's been revoked. Thank you. We'll adjourn at 10:21 at Rapides. Thank you.
Just like that, he was revoked in his 2021 parole hearing. And I love what Mr. Mirabella, he's a classic Judge Mirabella, said. It's like, you pled guilty. What do you think is going to happen? But how often have we seen, still to this day, 5 years of watching these hearings, seeing attorneys giving their clients advice to plead guilty, even though they're up on parole? And it is horrible advice. It doesn't work. And there should be something that will happen to these attorneys that continue to give wrong advice to their clients, causing their clients to go back into prison. Not that he needed any real help to do that, but hey, we're going to fast forward to his 2023 parole hearing. It was a 2-year break. He gets another bite at the apple, another chance at Freeman. We'll see. No way, Roche. And anyways, let's jump in.
Paxton Grayer, 369545.
All right, Paxton, you heard the introductions. We'll be your parole panel. Ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement and take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Paxton Grayer, DOC number 369545. You're a first-class offender. Parole eligibility date now. Your good time date 5/5/2027. Full term date 1/7/2035. 19-year sentence. Manslaughter. Looks like you were revoked in 2021. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what were you revoked for?
I took a charge of criminal mischief and been being behind on my fees.
What are you currently doing there at the facility?
Oh, I'm a trustee. I've been a trustee here ever since I've been here. I've been incarcerated, and I completed the parenting class. I've been a low risk. They said I wasn't eligible for anything else, and I've just been doing good. I don't get into trouble, anything of that nature. Right up free. And
Any transition?
Sir,
No transitional work. You're not doing. You're just working for the facility.
I work in the kitchen. I work 16 hours.
In the kitchen. And you know, you got out from the charge and you still had that criminal mischief. What was that all about?
The criminal mischief? Well, I was dating a female. I was staying in Rapides Parish. I'm from Independence, Louisiana. and I paroled over there and I got married. Since then, I've been divorced. And me and the female, we didn't have it wasn't an incident. The police made an incident. She dropped the charges. This DA picked it up. The DA investigator went and spoke with her. She didn't want to pursue it, but they had another guy that was with me the day that I had with him, had the same lawyer. And his parole officer told me that he was on parole for drug charges. I was on parole on the murder charge, but I had no idea that by him being on parole for a drug charge, that when he said that we both that we both cop out to criminal mischief, that we would go home. But I didn't know that I would have to come before the board, being that I was on a violent offense. So he went home and I didn't. That's how I ended up going before the board and being revoked. Had I known it, I would have went on a trial and had the charge thrown out. The charges were dropped. But since then, I have no contact with her or my ex-wife or anyone.
You do have opposition. You know, you have opposition. What are your plans if you were to be released? Where you go? What you gonna do?
I'm moving with my sister an Independence semester on Thursday. Independence, Louisiana. I have a job already waiting on me.
Where?
In New Orleans at We've Got It. I have my family-owned business on my dad's side.
That's a good little haul from Independence to New Orleans.
Well, I have a truck and a car.
That's a good little hour drive at least, huh? One way.
Yes, sir. It's in the store is in Slidell.
Well, you said New Orleans.
The store, there's three of them. There's one on North Broad, there's one on Gentilly, and there's the one in Slidell. The one it's not open, the one in Slidell. That's the one I'll be running.
You know, like I said, it might be it's just as far as Slidell as it is to the Gentilly. And
yes, sir. It's an hour drive.
Yep, a little over an hour. All right, what Warden, you got any input for us?
Sir, all I can tell you in my 14 years of correction, one of the most humble offenders I've ever had. Great worker, great with trying to work with the youth in my facility, and he's been a pleasure to have here.
All right, thank you. Would you answer Mr. Roche's question, please?
Yes, Mr. Grayson, how are you?
I'm blessed.
Warden, you said you're a humble person. Why so much violence? And violence against family members. Assault on family member in 1993. Assault on family member in 1993. Simple battery and aggravated assault, 1994. Second degree murder in 1995. What's all the violence about?
Well, sir, the individual that I guess at the time that those charges were pressed on me, they're not convicting, because when people press charges up, they don't be understanding the ramifications of their actions until I.
Okay. Now let's go to 2015, only 7 years ago. Aggravated assault, second degree battery, false imprisonment. And you were revoked, and only in 2021, you were revoked in 2017 also, right?
No, sir, I've only been revoked. I was revoked in 2019. In 2017, I went to work release.
Okay, my records show that the supervision was revoked on February 27, 2017, as a result of a new felony arrest for aggravated assault, second degree battery, and false imprisonment.
Those charges were dropped.
But you were revoked?
No, I guess that was the process they would call it, but that was an attack on me. I wasn't being violent. My murder charge, I had a life sentence, and my charge was commuted to manslaughter because it was self-defense, and I proved it. I went through my appeal process.
Okay, so the records I have in front of me are wrong.
Yes, sir. I have only the felony I have is the murder charge. I have no other felonies.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I would like to say to Miss Renasa, I was in Angola with her, and you've always been an awesome person. And this ain't for I apologize. to the whole board, because when I was released in 2015, I was really so excited, Miss Renasa, I wasn't paying attention to my parole, my guidelines. And I'm not a failure. I'm really a success story, and I just asked for another opportunity. And I apologize for not reading the small print when I was signing those papers for my parole eligibility. I didn't know that I would still be under the restraints of DOC. And my problem, you looked at my things, always been women. Well, I don't have no one now. You know, I've lost 8 family members to COVID, and I'm alone. That's why I have Mr. Jude just here. And I just asked, I'm moving back home with my sister. And so I'm not in a position of, for a woman to put me in a position to where those type of charges will ever be seen again in my life. I have an 8-year-old son, and I'm 49 years old. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. I spent 20 years in Angola. It was rough. These 3.5 years I've been locked up has been rough. And it hurts. And I can only speak for myself. And I just ask y'all that I am an individual that'll make y'all proud of me if I was given another opportunity in my ex-society. I have a job, and I just want to I have 16 grandkids and 2 great grandkids. And I'm older now. I just want to be with my family, with my grandkids. And I will ask so humbly and respectfully to ask y'all to just give me one more opportunity to make y'all proud of me, because I'm on parole to 2035. I'm more in debt to y'all than I am to society. So I definitely have something to prove to y'all, and I didn't know that. But I just asked y'all, let me prove to y'all that I'm a success story, and I would never ever let y'all down again.
All right, thank you for your comments. Thank you for coming. Found fair to vote. I'll vote first. Listen, you're right. When you have a charge like that, you got to walk a tight line. I mean, that's something that was done, something that you were charged with in the past. You were revoked. You do have law enforcement opposition and victim opposition. Your good time date is coming up. For me today, I'm just not prepared to vote for you to be released. My vote is to deny your parole. Mr. Knotson.
Mr. Grayer, I hear what you're saying. I was impressed by what Warden Jude had to say about you. I enjoyed listening to you today. I believe you have a good transition plan. You do have a low risk score. My vote today would be to grant you.
All right, Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Based on a poor supervision history, DA's office is strongly opposed law enforcement opposition in a history of violence. My vote is to deny your request.
But you have 2 votes to deny and 1 to grant. Today, your parole's been denied. Good luck to you, and we'll adjourn at 10:59. Thank you, Board.
And he got a denial. Maybe his charm worked on Miss Renata, but no way, Roche. And, well, time goes by quickly. It's been 2 years. He gets another bite at the apple. Apparently, it's every 2 years he can apply. And do you think he'll do any better? It's the new board. It's not Mr. Mirabella. It's not Miss Renata. It's not No Way Roche. Instead, we have the new board members here, and I wonder how they'll receive this parole hearing. I got to tell you, we had the classics. We have, it's spanning when we span from 2021 to 2025, and we've had the longest we've had our 5-year periods in 2020 to 2025. I think it's just incredible. And we're only able to do this because of Sir Richard and Lady Holly's spreadsheet that connects the dots. I also want to give a big shout out to, there's an Annan. He doesn't want to be named. He says he goes by the Annan, and he's been watching the up-to-date parole hearings and letting me know which ones to cover. And he said, Mandoo, cover this one. And he said, I have a hunch you're going to have his prior hearings. I put the DOC in the spreadsheet, and sure enough, it was there. So thank you, Annan, for doing that. And if any of you watching see hearings that you think I should cover that I haven't covered, email me. I'm going to write back, because that's important. That makes it possible to bring you the most interesting hearings. And I do love covering these long periods of time, because you can really get the truth. You can really understand, is someone lying at the parole hearing? Do they have no insight? Are they not taking accountability? Or are they truly the victim of being, I guess, Prince Charming, of just having all these women love them? I don't know. Let's find out.
Grayer, will you please, for the record, give your name and your DOC number?
My name is Paxton Grayer, 369545.
Okay, and this is at West Baton Rouge Parish Prison.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see, I'm gonna read some information into your record, and then when I finish, I'm gonna ask you to verify it. Okay, you are a first-class offender. Your parole eligibility date is 10/13/2024. Your adjusted good time date is 10/22/2026. Your full-time date is 1/7/2035. Have a total sentence left of 19 years, 10 months, and 4 days. This is a rehear, and this is for manslaughter. I'm going to turn, well, first of all, tell us why you think that we should let you out. And what did you do to get yourself incarcerated? What was your crime?
I was convicted of second-degree murder in 1995. I appealed through post-conviction relief and got relief, and they got me a diminution of sentence of manslaughter of 40 years credit for time served in 2015. And I was released after serving 20 years.
And then what happened?
I was getting I would have to say I was getting I got arrested, rearrested. From that time period, I was going through several arrests, but basically dealing with females.
Hey, well, I'm gonna let, when we get to it, I'm gonna let Ms. Ledoux get with you on that. And so why do you think you should be released again?
Because I've been incarcerated six years now. The guy, the photo that you have there, the information that you see there, the charges that you have there, the people that were affected by anything that I have done, I can only say I'm sorry so much. But it was about me, the changes I needed to be made from within me as a man, and my growth, my spiritual growth. And that's what is impacted me through these 6 years I've been incarcerated since my revocation in 2019. And I'm a 360-degree change from the guy that you're reading in that folder. Being more encourageable, I'm saved, filled with the Holy Spirit. And when you suffer for the wrong that you've done, take accountability for your action, and you suffer. I've suffered a great deal in these 6 years. My trials and tribulations are unsurmountable with the losses of my own family, loss of my son, and things of that nature there. But nevertheless, the change came from within my own heart and my own deeds. Been incarcerated 6 years, and I've obtained every 100 hours pre-release, parenting, anger management. There's nothing that as a first offender that I haven't not accomplished. I haven't had a write-up since then, since my incarceration. So I just feel like I'm fit to go back into society and be productive. I know I can. I believe in myself. I believe in the faith that I have in myself, and I think I've shown a substantial amount of work in these years that I've been incarcerated. And all I'm asking for is a chance to be with my grandkids, a chance to go to their graduations. And I'm not a failure. I will not fail again. And I apologize for what brought me before y'all. Everything that comes before y'all is an error in our actions, and I'm sorry for that. And I've apologized many times. But if I'm never given a chance, I can never flourish and grow to succeed, to being, to showing y'all the new me, because it's definitely a new me.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. You have in your support that would like to speak today is Miss Johnson, your sister. She's on Zoom.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. My apology.
Okay. Miss Johnson, would you like to speak, please?
Yes. Good afternoon to everyone on the board.
Okay.
My name is Semester Johnson. I am Paxton's younger sister. I believe in my heart that Paxton is a changed man. But like I also agree with what he says. If given a
We'll come back to her. Okay, go
are
ahead
you
now.
there?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It is, I know that it is up to you all to make the decision to release my brother and give him a chance to enter into society as a changed man. It would be beneficial to me personally. I'm not the only sibling that he has. Um, but for me, beneficially, the help that I need from him, and not just the help from him, but if given a chance, my husband and I will back Paxton 100% in helping him to transfer, if released, into society and helping him find work. We also have a place for him to live if he is um, released. We have a place for him to live. We will be involved in everything that Paxton needs as far as him coming back into society, supporting him with groups in church. We are trying to support him the best way that we can, mentally and physically, and especially spiritually, because we can't do anything without God. God is our only hope in this world. And with you all allowing him to come home to prove himself, um, it will be entirely up to you all. We do hope and pray that you will all give him a chance to be able to come home. It has really been hard on me personally, and with the loss of us just losing a brother 3 months ago, actually. I am just asking you all if you would give him a chance and give us a chance to help him
Okay.
transition into society if you all will unanimously, vote for him to be released.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Johnson. Thank you very much. Okay, we're
Thank
gonna
you.
go down to opposition. And that's gonna be from the 21st JDC. And it'll be, she's not speaking today, but the VAC Tamika White. And then not speaking today also is the felony supervisor there, Michelle Sparks. And not speaking from 21st JDC is Tatlin Costa. And then the ADA, Alexis Taylor, is speaking on Zoom. Go ahead, Alexis.
Good afternoon, Carolyn and board. This is not Alexis, it is Tamika. In life, things do happen, and something came up with Alexis, and she was unable to get on Zoom. So on behalf of the state, I am going to speak in opposition. We know that no one is perfect, but we feel that Mr. Grayer has been already received chance after chance. I mean, we went from a second-degree murder charge where he was sentenced to life, that was eventually resentenced to 40 years for manslaughter, in which he stated he did get out, and somehow another ended back up in jail. So I'm not really even clear if he took full responsibility for why he ended back in jail. I never heard him state that, but I'm not even sure what he's done or what he has learned from these things, because he's right. He's bit the bullet more than one time. So we're standing with the board and what decision they make.
Okay, Tamika, thank you very much. All right, at this time, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, And that is Miss Ledoux, and she is going to ask you questions.
Mr. Grayer,
Yes, ma'am.
where were you living when you were released in 2015?
With my sister. But my mom was living then. I was still living, my mom was still living then in
And
Independence.
not the same sister that's on today.
Yeah, but she stayed on the land. We have some property. We all stayed. She stayed right across from us.
Okay.
But my mom was living, so I was with my mom at that time.
Why did you keep getting in trouble with women? What was the deal?
I guess after being incarcerated so long, and I was always reared to be a pretty boy, and I'm just being honest with you. I don't know, I guess it was just misreading, misjudging people. You know, they had this thing, the hot boy thing that was out, and like all the women, I'm being honest with you, all the women was after me. I didn't have no discipline to say no, you know, and one thing lead to another. I got, you know, like they said, had a saying like they have 20 women to one man, and I was a victim of that. It had to be a victim because none of it meant me any good, and nothing came good out of it through me learning from it now, today. And that's just what it was. No discipline.
You had a domestic abuse battery by strangulation charge, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'm be honest with you, ma'am. I think I had several of those, and that was the result of having so many female kind of confidence at that time. And that's what they do. I don't have no convictions of that. I have some arrests, and I do admit, but when you don't give them what they want, that's what they do. And I've learned from that. I'm single, celibate, and saved. And I can't make up for, if I may, for my yesterdays. Who I am today I'm not that guy. I just need I'm just asking y'all, I know all y'all have is that.
So you're wanting to go back to independence.
Yes, ma'am. That's where I'm
Everybody
from.
thinks that you're pretty boy.
No.
So what's gonna be any different this time when you go back into the same environment?
Because I've lost my mama incarcerated. I've lost my entire family during my incarceration. I haven't had the opportunity to go to a NAM funeral. Like I said, my trials and tribulations are the reason I am who I am today. And the pain never goes away. Me being incarcerated, I'm so wise and knowledgeable now. And I can take accountability for every action that I've taken yesterday. I just want a chance to cherish the moment that the Father is giving me right now with my grandbabies, with my sister. I never thought a day would come I would lose a son. I never thought a day would come I would lose my brother and not be able to see. All I can have the last memory of him. You know, these things take you for the rest of your life.
Well, I mean, being incarcerated for 20 years for manslaughter should have helped you with that. Then you get out and you're doing these things. Tell me what you've been doing since you've been back in this last time. Programming, what kind of job do you have? Tell me about that.
I finished the 100 hours pre-release. If you're familiar with pre-release, it consists of a cumulative of lessons and journeys through anger management, alcoholism, everything. I don't drink or smoke. Never had a problem drinking or smoking. And behavior therapy, everything. And I took up in parenting. As a first offender, not what they call it. My risk assessment score is a low risk. That's all I'm able to take. So everything that was allowed for me to take, I took it. Every change from within in my heart that I need to make me a better man, I'm that man today as I stand here and look at you. I'm not Paxton from yesterday. I'm not Paxton from 2015. I'm not Paxton coming out after 20 years of Angola. I was excited. You know, I had life sentence. I was doomed. Burl Kane said that 95% of us would die in there, and I was one of the ones that didn't die in there. I made it out of there. I was just excited, overzealous. But the pain has calmed me, has sustained my soul to nothing. I just want to just be able to hold my grandbabies and, you know, I'm family oriented.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What is
Yes,
your
ma'am.
assignment while you're there in the facility?
Nothing. I'm in the dorm now.
So
I don't do anything.
You don't have
I'm through with my classes. There's no more classes offered here.
Ma'am, if I may speak on Paxton's behalf, this is Lieutenant Morgan. This is the second time Paxton has come to our facility. He was here in 22 in September up until about December of 23. When he was here at that time, he was a kitchen trustee. He also assisted in commissary. He assisted with any task that was asked of him, and he did so very graciously and was very grateful for the opportunity to be able to be out of the dorm and to work and to help out. When he came back to us in December of last year, we also put him back in the kitchen because of his expertise and because of his persona and the aura that comes from Paxton. Paxton has changed so much in the year that he was here previously to when he came back. He's very articulate. We've had him talk to a group of young Catholic school students. They were very, very moved by Paxton's speech and by Paxton's experience and the way he presented that to them. I think if given the opportunity, he has grown a lot as a man and with his relationship with Jesus Christ, that he likes to help others broaden their minds and get that connection with them through him and him explaining his experience and how it led him to that. I do believe he is remorseful. I think right now he's just really nervous. Speaking to the board, he feels like he's being put on trial all over again, and in a way he is. But I think that he would make a difference and make better decisions. I think he could use a little bit more anger management classes to help him communicate his words better, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So you're sitting there doing time and you don't have any job assignment right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a reason he doesn't have a job assignment? I'm just.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, we were really shorthanded in our kitchen with getting trustees. We've had some issues in our facility with some other matters. And he really needed a break, to be honest with you. I was speaking with the warden who's in here now. He's working to replace some trustees and reassign some new trustees. It's only his 4th day in office. So he's trying to get a gauge of what trustees are good and what they're good at to make a job reassignment for Paxton. He's not permanently unassigned a job. It's just that he needed a break. He was working 7 days a week in the kitchen on both shifts.
Okay. I'd like to pass to my colleagues to ask any questions, and I'll reserve to ask any questions that come up. Thank you.
Mr. Prater, do you have anything?
I'd like to know, you were charged with second-degree murder, and then you ended up getting a manslaughter charge after you went and appealed that, and you got, what was your sentence at that time?
I got a life sentence for the second-degree murder.
Right.
I appealed my life sentence through what they call Brady material. Brady material is evidence that
Right.
When I caught my murder charge, I pleaded that my action was in self-defense. The man got on the stand. An expert testimony witness said that the victim had 2 shots to the back that killed my justifiable homicide for a responsive verdict for the jury to come back with. When I appealed, I did my whole appeal and I lost. I came back on newly discovered evidence because I got my district attorney file. And in my district attorney file, the same individual that got on the stand and said that the victim had 2 shots to the back. I found the autopsy that didn't show the 2 shots to the back. And in my discovery, at the time, the lawyer that I had, I asked for all those, the exculpatory evidence, inculpatory and exculpatory evidence, that the district attorney said that it did not exist. So that made it Brady evidence because I could have used that to prove that I did not shoot this man in the back 2 times. The autopsy never showed the 2 shots to the back. And they agreed with me that it was Brady material, and they resentenced me to manslaughter.
Okay. So did you commit the manslaughter?
Yes, sir, but it was in self-defense.
Okay. And what year was that you ended up, what year was that you shot this person?
1995.
And how long did you spend in jail from 95 until you were released?
To 2015, March the 3rd, 20 years and 3 months.
Spent 20 years. And then how long were you out?
5 years.
Before you got revoked, correct?
Yes, sir. I got revoked in 2019.
Okay. And how long have you been in this time?
6 years.
Okay. And what you got revoked for was domestic abuse strangulation. Is that correct?
No, sir. The charge was domestic abuse strangulation, and I took a plea to criminal mischief.
Okay. All right. Okay. But you say there could have been others, or there were other cases out there probably, but because you weren't acting right at the time. Is that correct?
The cases of what?
I thought I heard you say other domestic abuse cases.
No, that was at the time, the females that I was dating, that would be a plot that they would use against me not to leave.
And that's
say, I'm gonna call
after
the police.
That's after you got on revocation. I mean, after
No,
you got on parole or before?
No, that was before. I've never been out since my revocation. I've been locked up 6 years.
Okay.
Since my revocation hearing.
Yes. All right. Well, I knew that, but I meant in between was the domestic thing when your girlfriend was getting.
That was before my revocation.
That was before your revocation, but
Yes,
after
sir.
you got out.
Yes, sir. After I got out for the 20 years.
I got you. I'm with you. That's what I wanted to get straight. I wanted to hear you say that and hear what you had to say. You got some other crimes in your past, kind of violent crimes, correct?
But no conviction. I'm not a violent individual. I'm asked if you think if I was a violent individual, I've been incarcerated 6 years and I've been to all different, look at my paper, I've been to different facilities all over Louisiana and I haven't had a fight. I haven't had an incident. I make trustee everywhere I go as a cook. So I'm just saying that my actions have proved that what you see before you isn't the truth to my character as a man from within, in spite of what the papers say. And that's why I'm trying to get to y'all to see that I'm not that person anymore. Okay. I'm not violent. I never have been.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I had was to get all that business straight.
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chairman.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask. Okay, so I see the 2019 and it said domestic abuse, strangulation, criminal damage to property, and then it was pled down to criminal mischief 2020. But then, so it says prior revocation of 2017, a new felony arrest, and it was aggravated assault, second degree battery, and false imprisonment. And that was pled down to simple battery charge in order to complete a department approved transitional work program not to exceed 6 months. So that's 2 separate times? Am I correct, or am I just reading that wrong?
Yes, ma'am, that's 2 separate times.
So the one that was aggravated assault and false, was that against a female also?
Yes, ma'am, I was attacked. She wasn't attacked, she attacked me.
Well, it says prior revocation on 2/17/2017 for a new.
Yes, ma'am, I took that charge to trial and lost it.
So you took the charge. So this is your charge against you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're just saying, and the female actually did it, but you got the blame.
Yes.
Okay. And then we got another one, the domestic abuse strangulation, which is just 2 years later. And there again, another plea. And so that was a different lady?
Yes, ma'am.
So 2 different women back to back. Okay, so I needed to know that. Anybody else have any questions? No? Ms. Ledoux, would you like to vote? Well, let me see. I think I'm supposed to ask you, I think we know everything that you have to say, but do you have any kind of final statement before we vote?
Yes, I ask that y'all don't hold my past against me. If I'm never given a person to make the necessary changes from within as I have made it during these 6 years, how will I ever be able to prove it to you? I just asked for a chance to prove to you that I'm not that man that you're reading those charges against. I'm saved. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. I'm so wise and knowledgeable now. You know, I have my grandkids. I have more things that means more to me now. I'm not that guy, and I just asked for a chance to prove it to you.
Okay.
Everything that I could get in jail, I got it. I got 100 hours pre-release. I got anger management. I got every class attainable. There's nothing else for me to get here.
Okay.
All I can do is
Mr.
succeed now.
Paxton,
Ms. Ledoux?
Mr. Grayer, stop
Yes,
talking.
ma'am.
Stop talking. You're making yourself worse. Okay, listen. I am looking at what you have done since you've been in. The last time that you came before a panel, this is a rehear. You're at the discretion of the board.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
had a hearing in 23,
Yes, ma'am.
and it was a split vote, 2-1. And I believe at that time the warden had some positive things to say about you. I am going to vote that you go to a work release program, that I'm going to grant and send you to a work release program. And I guarantee that's where you could really find out if you're going to mess up, because they'll be watching you. And then upon release, I would expect you to take an or a domestic abuse battery class. So it has to specifically be domestic abuse battery, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, you're a Christian now. You need to
Yes, ma'am.
read about humility, because you don't have it yet. Okay, that's an area, spiritual growth area, humility. You're not as wise as you think you are yet. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's just one vote.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Prater.
What he's done, proud of his attitude, and I'm proud of the way that they speak about him at the institutions. However, because of his violent crime in his past, I mean, some very serious violent crimes, my vote is to deny this request.
Okay, and I concur with Mr. Tillis. I already have, I was listening to you, and that's why I asked those two questions I did. You have serious violent crimes against women. And that was when you got out. You should have known better for doggone, I'm sure. You should have wanted to stay out. So my vote today is to deny also. So that's 2 votes to deny and 1 to grant. So today, sir, your parole has been denied, and the time is 12:45, and we are closing off at this facility.
And just like that, they denied. It was like, poop, they popped the bubble. And you really can't feel bad for him. He has gotten chance after chance after chance. And he's the one, you know it's true. You know that he is dangerous to women, strangling them time and time again. And it's only a matter of time, you might think, until something terrible happens. Yet he can't admit any of it. He sits here and he is the victim. He's the pretty boy. He's everyone wants him, and they're all making it up, and I don't believe it. And then he sits there and he says, "Well, you know, I don't have any fighting tickets in prison. I'm not a violent person." And it's like, well, what's the common denominator with the idea that there's no violent crimes and there's no women in there? No kidding. Who would have thought? And thank God his ex-wife from the last hearing didn't stick with him. We're so used to seeing we stick with the and you know, I kind of would have liked for him to have gone to work release. Why not? He has a good time date coming up in 2026, 2027. So it'd be better for him to build up some type of money. It'd be why have him just rotting away in prison anyways? You know, it'd be better for society to do the work release. I think Ms. Ledoux's idea of work release there made much more sense for everybody as a whole. I'm for that. He's shown that while locked up, he's not going to abscond. He's not going to. And it's interesting though. You know, and that's what I love about covering these hearings that stretch across. You can see certain common threads. And, you know, if I'd only seen one hearing where the female warden was singing his praises, I'd be like, yeah, I guess he does have something with women, you know. But it was both wardens. It was really everybody who's worked with him. He clearly does excel in prison. He does well enough for wardens to sing his praises, but there's something that happens when he gets out where he just, and you know what's interesting is that it doesn't seem like it's a narcotic thing. We don't see a trend of it of dirties. We don't see that where that's the excuse, where it's a substance abuse issue. I don't even know if that was mentioned once. It just seems that he can't control his anger when it comes to his others. It's bizarre, right? I mean, you know, the whole, I wish I could pull up an appeal on to get the facts on the murder manslaughter thing. I have a hunch that he somehow got it down on a technicality, not so much of evidence. That shot in the back and the whole thing. It was nice seeing the DA here. Very interesting that they showed up to this kind of hearing, right? It's not typical that they would show up to these kinds of hearings. So I thought that was interesting and put some perspective into it. But look, I guess we won't see him. We might see him again in 2. No, if the math adds up, right? I know Carol will drop the EOS in the comment section, but I don't know if we'll see him anytime soon. But I sadly do believe, as long as I continue doing this, because he's on paper for more than another 10 years, I think 12 years or something, that we will see him again. And if you like these return of hearings, there is a playlist for it down below. It's called the Return of Playlist. Comment and let me know that you like it. Commenting also, they say, helps the algorithm tremendously. They've changed the algorithm, and it motivates me to continue pushing up these hearings. I love doing it. I love the continuation hearings, the return ofs. I think there's so much that we can learn about human nature and the system that you simply can't learn in any PhD program or any book. It's like you got to see it. You got to see it to truly understand it. And I love that with the help of Sir Richard and Lady Holly's spreadsheet and the Anning who told me about this hearing, that we're able to pull this together and gain that kind of knowledge, right? Something that you simply cannot get unless you watch it. And you also wouldn't believe it unless you've seen it, I think. And I mean, I'm so handsome. I was like, I had 20, like, what? Like, how do you, at your age, you're a grandfather, you've been through the system, you've gone through Angola, like what are you saying? What are you even saying? Who says that? It's just the craziest thing, right? But we saw it. Anyways. One last thing, if you're still here, you're probably already subscribed, but my Grandpa Do told me, he said, Mandoo, I never see when you have new hearings. I said, well, Grandpa Do, are you subscribed to the channel? He said, what's subscribed? It's funny, he's on YouTube, he's 96 years old, he has it on his TV, he watches, but I had to go and show him to subscribe and then click the all bell thing. And so if you know, I've seen comments, a lot of people say, Mandoo, I didn't know you're still posting. I said, of course I'm posting. I'm posting Sunday through Thursday like clockwork for maybe 3 years now. I think I've missed one day. And I usually post as well on Friday and Saturday. So yeah, make sure that you have the notification bell on. I also post from 2 channels. Many of you don't know that. Help me reach 100,000 subscribers. We're almost there. And gosh, anyways, so with that, I'll let you go.
You know, you're a Christian now. You need to,
Yes, ma'am.
read about humility because you don't have it yet. Okay, that's an area, spiritual growth area, humility. You're not as wise as you think you are yet. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Look at my things, always been women. Well, I don't have no one now. You know, I've lost 8 family members to COVID. And I'm alone. That's why I have Mr. Jude just here. And I just asked, I'm moving back home with my sister. And so I'm not in a position of, you know, for a woman to put me in a position to where those type of charges will ever be seen again in my life. I have an 8-year-old son and I'm 49 years old. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. I spent 20 years in Angola. It was rough. These 3.5 years I've been locked up has been rough. And you know, and it hurts. And I can only speak for myself. And I just ask y'all is that I am an individual that'll make y'all proud of me. If I was given another opportunity at my ex society. I have a job and I just want to be, I got 16 grandkids and 2 great grandkids. And I'm older now. I just want to be with my family, you know, with my grandkids. And I will ask so humbly and respectfully to ask y'all to just give me one more opportunity to make y'all proud of me, because I'm on parole to 2035. I'm more in debt to y'all than I am to society. So I definitely have something to prove to y'all, and I didn't know that. But I just asked y'all, let me prove to y'all that I'm a success story, and I would never ever let y'all down again.